All right, let's start with your name, year, and major.
My name's Jonathan Holzebus. I'm a third year political science and economics student.
Have you attended the University of Florida for all 3 years?
Yep, sure have.
Do you own a car, scooter, and/or motorcycle?
I own a car.
Okay. Do you have a parking decal for your car?
No, but I did freshman year.
Okay. Do you live on or off campus?
I live off campus.
Where do you live in location to the university?
I live on 8th Avenue north of Midtown.
Where have you lived in the past, or have you always lived there?
My freshman year, I lived in a dorm at Lakeside, and then sophomore year, I moved here, and I've lived off campus since.
Okay. Where are most of your classes located on campus?
Most of my classes are over by Anderson Hall, so I guess it's the northeast corner of campus.
Okay. How do you usually get to campus?
I pretty much always have to use my bicycle.
How long does that take you?
If I'm coming from home, usually around just under 10 minutes.
Okay. How often would you say you take a car to campus?
Almost never. Only if I'm going to a sporting event or if it's a rare occasion that I'm going to a library or something on the weekend.
Okay. Would you say taking a car takes more or less time than your usual form of transportation?
Definitely more time.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Because traffic is awful on campus. There's a lot of places you can't drive. Parking, it's awful. So the places that you can drive, a lot of times there's people driving around really slow so they can try to find parking. But yeah, driving on campus is usually a nightmare.
Yeah. Where do you usually park if you drive on campus?
I usually park at the lot by the track or in the parking garage over by Jennings.
Is it easy to find parking there?
Most of the time, I can find parking, yeah.
Are those parking locations close to where you're going?
Close enough. Probably like maybe a quarter-mile walk from where I'm going most of the time.
Have you noticed any seasonal fluctuations with parking, like with football season, basketball season?
Yeah, I was actually doing something on campus tonight where I would normally take my car and park by the track, but I wasn't able to because there's a basketball game tonight. So, I wasn't able to do that. I just biked from the house instead, and at night, so it's kind of dangerous. And then freshman year, I parked at Lakeside, so I didn't have to move my car, but a lot of people would move their cars from other lots to Lakeside, so parking was usually pretty bad then when I lived at Lakeside. Every once in a while I'd have to park at the bat houses or something like that and then walk from there.
Okay. I know you mentioned the traffic being bad earlier. What times of day would you say the traffic's the worst?
Probably 4 to 5:30 in the afternoon.
Have you ever received a parking ticket on campus?
I have.
What was it for?
It was for parking in a spot for a zone I didn't have a decal for, but so I was doing something at the track facility, and I got back to my car probably 4 minutes after the parking started, so I guess that would have been 7:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. And I got there 3 or 4 minutes late, and I already had a ticket on my windshield. So yeah, I actually ended up appealing that, and I guess either because they found it a legitimate claim, or it was just my first and only ticket, so they gave it to me. But
yeah. I've heard a lot of times they just appeal the first one automatically.
Yeah.
Have you had any experience with parking on other college campuses?
Um, I've had to park at Florida Southern College in Lakeland, Florida. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
How did the parking there compare to parking at UF?
Um, it's a smaller school, so it's kind of hard to compare, but probably still worse than UF. Um, yeah, their lots were definitely larger than UF's lots and closer to the heart of campus.
Yeah. Do you see similar issues with city parking in Gainesville as you do on campus?
Yeah, mainly downtown. Um, Almost anywhere downtown you have to pay to park, and then even on top of that, it's usually almost impossible to find a spot. Um, yeah, and then on weekends it's usually not as bad in terms of like paying to park, but then those are the times when it's most crowded. So yeah, downtown's usually a pain. Like I'd probably hardly ever park downtown if I didn't know how to parallel park.
How about in your hometown? Were there any issues with parking there?
Almost never. I notice every time I go home now that the parking spots are always so much bigger than the ones in Gainesville. It seems like pretty much everywhere in Gainesville, whether it's like campus or downtown or Butler Plaza, the spots are usually really small. At least around like places where people actually go. I guess it's just the way of trying to somewhat compensate for the fact that there aren't nearly enough parking lots.
Yeah. Overall, do you think parking on campus is a problem?
For sure. I think it's pretty much impossible to park on campus, and I think it's designed to be that way, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I think it's made so that like only the people that live really far away like have to do it, and it's still a huge like time commitment to drive to where you can actually park and then catch a bus to where you need to go. Like it's almost impossible to be able to park somewhere and then walk to wherever you need to go.
Yeah, a lot of the parking garages and stuff like aren't even close to classes or anything.
Yeah.
Can you think of a specific time when lack of parking on campus like affected you personally?
Mm, well, I mean, beyond stuff like tonight where I just had to like bike in the dark instead of being able to drive to campus. Let me think.
It's okay if you can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, not me personally, but I have a younger sister who has a car and everything. She's a freshman at the school, but she doesn't have her car on campus because parking's so bad. So she's not able to go grocery shopping or really go anywhere unless someone's able to take her. And a lot of times, like, if one of her friends drives, she has to drive from wherever her friends park, which is often like a really long way to walk, especially for a girl at night,
Oh yeah.
like in a somewhat poorly lit area. So, yeah, it's definitely something that is unfortunate that it exists.
Yeah. Do you think this problem could be resolved?
At this point, I think it'd be kind of hard to. I think the only answer would be a parking garage, and then you have to worry about like what you're gonna take down or take out. And honestly, I used to think that there'd be no way that UF would like mess with their like natural areas, but I see them like taking stuff down for frat houses, and it makes me wonder if they can do it for frat houses, if they would do it for a parking garage. I feel like that would make things a lot easier for a lot of students. But yeah, I honestly think UF and the city of Gainesville kind of likes that parking's hard because it means less people will drive. But
Yeah.
maybe that's just me.
Would improved parking on campus encourage you to drive to campus more often?
For sure, yeah. It would definitely be a lot of times really convenient, especially if the weather was bad, because that's the thing about using a bicycle. If it's like raining or anywhere near storming or anything like that, it's pretty dangerous to be out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have for you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks.